Today I'm going to take you through how to create a Google form for an assessment. You'll do that by starting out in Google Drive. Within Google Drive you'll want to hit New, and then you see these options that I'm sure hopefully you're familiar with. But if you go to More, you'll see Google Forms. You can click on that. And I'm using the new updated Google Forms. It's very similar to the old style. All the same information is there. You just have to kind of look around to see where the different buttons are. At any rate, if I want to title my test, I can call it whatever I want. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to call it the AHS test. A form description is where you can put anything you want, from learning targets to ELERs to the chapter that it involves, whatever information that you want to be able to identify the test or to help your kids better understand the test and which chapter, which unit, etc. that it might be. What you'll want to do after that is hit this Add Question button right here, and then your question will pop up, and it might say something like, when was the current AHS building built? Right here's your question type. You can short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, etc. Fairly straightforward. On this one I'll go ahead and well, I'll show you what that would look like. Your short answer would look like this, and then if I went to another question, all that would show up would be the question and where the kids would respond. Okay. If I wanted to do another question like that, I could say, what is the AHS school mascot? Let's say that I want to do multiple choice. That's the default option. What I would do is I would select here and I would start typing in different options. Okay, so maybe, come on. Okay, and when I'm done with that, I can delete what I need to delete out of that, and I'll add another question. Okay, so let's say this is my test and I'm now done with this. I don't need it anymore in terms of building it anymore. I'm ready to give it to the kids. A few things you can do. Right here is the color palette wheel. That's where you can change the look of your test to however you would like it to be. One of the nice options I think is this button here. It gives you all kinds of different theme options within here. So if you've selected any of these options will pop up on what you'd like it to look like. Basically anything that you could think of is probably in there already. So let's go with this one. Once you hit select, it will change the format. Okay, so at this point, if you're done with your test, you would hit preview. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Now I found a mistake. I don't want this untitled question one. So now what I'll do is I'll go back and click the edit button, and I'll go down and I'll find the question that I'm looking at, and there we go. I'm going to delete that using the trash button. Okay, so now I can go back up here, and there's my test. This is what the students will see. Okay, so in order to attach this into Google Classroom, you'll want to click on your, let me move my screen up a little. You'll want to click on this internet address, and then you'll right click it and copy that. This is the screen that you want to show. You do not want to show the screen that you build the test off of. If you do that, students will be able to alter your test, and they will. Okay, so what you'll want to do is just simply highlight that, right click and copy. Then when you open up your classroom and you want to put it into a test, I'll run down here to my test class. Okay, so let's move this back down again, get it out of the way. I'll hit the plus. I can create an assignment. I'll title it my AHS test. If you needed to give instructions, you could. Now, these are your options down here. You do not want to go through Google Drive. That seems the most logical, but that's not the way Google set it up. You'll want to go to the link. So you're attaching a link, and this is where you right-click and you paste in the form that you just highlighted in the previous screen. Now you'll add it. Okay, once that's in there, you can assign. So now it's on your Google class. When the kids are ready, or when you're ready to have them do it, the kids will go here, click on the test, and it will open up to this, and they'll be ready to take it. If you want them to, if you're going to move beyond just taking it and having it graded for you, then what you'll need to do is take the test yourself. So to get the correct answers, you'll say, okay, this is going to be 2015. The school mascot's the Trojan, the principal's Mr. Zimmerman, and you hit submit. It's been recorded, so now you're done with that. Okay, so then you'll want to go back. You'll click out of that. You'll go back to your original form that you made. Okay, one quick thing before you do that. With your responses, you'll be able to see live what kids are putting. Okay, this is really helpful on a formative test because at that point you can see exactly which ones they're struggling with, and it can maybe help you tailor your instruction to deal with those specific issues. That's a good thing to do while they're taking it. It'll just create this steady spreadsheet of what's happening. Okay, when you're completely done, you'll want to go to Drive. So now I'm going to show you how to grade this assignment that you've given. I'm going to have to use a test that I've done with my kids in class, because the AHS test thing, you need more than one response to be able to grade it, obviously. So if I click in my Google Drive on the test that the kids would have taken, okay, the first thing I'm going to have to do is take the test myself. Okay, so as I would put in my answers, and I work my way right on down. Some of that will require a little bit of teaching on your part. So once I'm done with my test, I hit submit, and now it's recorded my response too. So I go back into here. I'm going to hit my responses page. This gives me a summary of how everybody answered. Okay, I can view that live, like I said, and see exactly what's happening and realize that what areas they're missing. So for instance, on this particular test, out of 22 responses, I can see there's a pretty good chunk of kids that didn't know that answer, so I might spend a little more time addressing that. At any rate, once you're into this, let me go back to the top here. Right here is the spreadsheet icon. So when I do this, it's going to ask me to create a new spreadsheet, so I'm going to create that. And it'll take a moment for it to pop up. Now here is where it's collected all my usernames for my kids, and you'll see mine right here. So now if I want to add this, or if I want to correct this, I should say, I'm going to go up to add-ons, select Flubaroo, and I need to enable Flubaroo. Once I've gotten this message that it's been enabled, I select OK, and I go right back to add-ons and Flubaroo. Now this option pops up, so I can grade the assignment. So Flubaroo is going to give you a few things. First off, it's going to say, where do you want your point totals? Okay. Notice it identifies with the username. It doesn't give it a point. So that if you had a question where it actually collects their name, that might assign it a point. You would need to go back and zero that out. Otherwise, you can just simply put down for the number of points you want it to be for each question. So some questions, if they were worth more, you would simply select the more points for that question. On this one, it's a simple fill in the blanks practice that we had done today. So for me, I just go with the default and hit continue. Now this is going to say, please select which submission should be used as your answer key. Notice it gives you all these options all the way through, which is why it's important that you take your test at the end. Okay, I'm going to select me as my correct answer. I hit continue, and Flubaroo starts grading. So as we go through this list, you'll see that it gives us a few options with points possible, average points. Now it's done, so I can exit out of there. This gives me all this detail, which may or may not be of use to you, and it gives me what the kid had, what their different username is, and their total points, okay, their percentage. Time submitted is nice, because if a kid submitted it a couple times, you'd know that that wasn't allowed, or maybe it was, okay, and then it gives you them all these different spots, okay, along the way. As I scroll down, you'll see which percentage got them right or wrong. Okay, so on here, this is a very common thing. I'm happy to see that it's fairly high. Should maybe be higher. This one, oh wow, there's a problem there. That's a complicated verb in Spanish that we're dealing with, so clearly need to spend more time there. Okay, same thing on all of these. What I recognize as I look at these is there's all a pattern within them. So it's a specific concept that I'm going to need to go back and cover better. Okay, when I look at these are very easy verbs, and I see a pretty high percentage. Okay, so it's a good quick check things out on these easy ones, high percentages, on the more complicated things, lower percentages. So I didn't even have to look very carefully, and I can figure out what I need to fix overall. Then I could go back through and identify individual kids and say, wow, this kid really needs some extra work. Or this kid didn't even take it. They didn't even try. Okay. Or they hit submit right away and then just stopped. So at that point, you have this document. It will appear within your Google Drive. You'll see there's the test. There's your responses. At that point, you could print out the responses, enter them into your gradebook, and away you go. Hope that helped.